you refugee status. So we're bringing in white Afrikaners who we don't know if they're criminal. We don't know this, what they went through in the legal process in South Africa. But people right here in Newark, we're going to assume they're all criminal. We're going to bring them out. And if the mayor wants to say, wait a minute, let's have due process, lock him up. He's trespassing. It is as blatantly a double standard as one can get. What is the real policy going to be? And I think he's right. Judges have to establish, are we going to have due process? Or are we just going to let everybody go? And can the president just give other people blanket, you're refugees? So what's the difference, Mr. President, between a refugee and a guy that may be a criminal and may not be, given the Garcia situation?
Yeah, I mean, I hate doing graphics myself, but I'm going to do one. I mean, if immigration is legal, political, and what what they're doing, sort of the public support, they're losing in the courts. They're losing sort of the public support. You've got Chuck Grassley's constituents yelling at him about bringing back Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And so they seem to be plussing up the political, the only area they still control.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, I think they're playing this game where they don't care whether they lose in court because they're just going to go out and say, well, the people wanted it. You know, I mean, you can't have a situation where the administration says, well, the people want it, therefore we're going to go beyond the law. I mean, I think that's what judges are trying to say is, look, you need to change the law, fix the law, whatever, if you don't like it, but you can't just obliterate the law. And I think that is what's happening. And the idea of trying to stifle protest, that's really dangerous in the United States.
Let me show you. We have some sound from Congressman Menendez of New Jersey on that topic.
It was an act of intimidation, not just to the mayor, not just to us, but to everyone watching. We know what ICE has been doing in our communities. We know that the president lied and this administration lies every day when they're saying they're going after criminals. It is not true. They feel no weight of the law. They feel no restraint on what they should be doing. And that was shown in broad daylight today when they not just arrested the mayor of Newark, but when they put their hands on two members of Congress who are standing behind me. How is this acceptable to anyone in this country? How is this acceptable? I fight along with these two incredible women every day for the people of New Jersey. We fight for the country that we should be.
I mean, Rev, a passionate display there from Congressman Menendez. This is a administration in defiance of a Supreme Court order to, quote, facilitate the return of one man that the Trump administration admitted was wrongfully deported. It is a Trump administration in defiance in terms of their commitment to due process of a 9-0 Supreme Court ruling that they must give everyone in this country due process.
And that is why we are on the verge, if not there, of a constitutional crisis. You've got the Supreme Court saying this is wrong. They still have not abided in any way about bringing him back from El Salvador, or even said how they intend to. And at the same time, they have ICE going around the country doing the same kinds of raids in the same kind of situations with no due process. And all we're saying, I mean, this is not radical left-wing stuff. All we're saying is that people should have due process so we will know who they are, what their status is or is not, which is why I brought up about the South Africans, because you're not asking for any status there at all. Just come ye that will, and we'll give you a refugee status. But these people, we're going to lock them up, and if we make a mistake, we'll figure it out. And that's why we have this man sitting in the jail.
And I think we need to remember why those members of Congress were there. They were there to exercise their power of oversight. I'm eager to hear from her next guest. Let's bring her in, Democratic Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman of New Jersey. She is currently outside of that ICE detention facility.
Congresswoman, you are still on the scene. Can you just tell us what you know now at this point? What has transpired since Mayor Baraka has been arrested? And while you're talking, we might also throw on the screen the video, the B-roll of the moment where you all surrounded the mayor, so our viewers can see it.
And so thank you for having us, and most assuredly, thank you for making this information available to millions of people in our country, because you're absolutely right. Our rights are being taken away. And if they can do what they did to Mayor Baraka, and if they do what they did to the three of us, LaMonica, Rob, and me, then they can do it to anybody, and they are doing it to anybody and everybody. First of all, we're at a different site right now. This is not the site of the detention facility where we were trying to conduct an oversight interview and look at the facility. It's something that Rob and LaMonica and I had been doing. It's an ICE detention facility. We wanted to make sure everyone was comfortable, the place was clean, and individuals had access to phones and their attorneys. It basically was a clean facility. They don't have all the access that they are entitled to, but they're kind of gearing up. We waited for over an hour to be addressed by ICE, even though we had the authority to be there, even though we only wanted to make a tour. While we were in the waiting area, all of the ICE officials from the state of New Jersey at the highest levels came to the detention facility, and we thought it was to resolve our issue of taking the tour. So they came, they said hello, and the next thing we saw, they ran outside. We went outside, and we saw that the mayor was there. And the mayor was talking to them, to some of the ICE employees. He was invited inside of the gate to have the conversation. When we all got down there to the end, they told him that he had to go back into the public area where the protesters were, and he willingly, quietly, and respectfully did as they asked. While he was there, we were walking back to the holding facility, thinking that we were going to have our interview and do our tour. But we noticed that ICE and officials were huddling and having a discussion. So we decided that we were going to kind of wait and see what was going on. They were talking to people on the phone. Now, mind you, all of the ICE leadership in the state of New Jersey was at that facility, but they were on the phone with someone. And we finally heard, okay, we're going to arrest the mayor. To which we said, why are you arresting the mayor? The mayor is not on your property. The mayor is out there with the protesters. They ignored us. They went out there. They tried to grab him. LaMonica, Rob, and I tried to hold on to the mayor to protect him. And we kept asking, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? So they actually, quite frankly, started roughing us all up. They took the mayor finally. The mayor went. They arrested him. They cuffed him. It was disgusting to watch. They brought him to this facility where we are now, which is their, I think, administration facility. We have been outside here now since they brought him here, trying to get a hearing for him or trying to get him released. And people have been coming and coming and coming. This place is flooded with protests and with media right now, because everyone is, first of all, we're scared. We're scared that nobody is safe in this country anymore. We're scared that Donald Trump has weaponized law enforcement, and law enforcement has no respect for any of us, irrespective of our positions. And we're scared for everyday folks just minding their business, going to school, working and walking. And so we decided that we're going to be here until we find out how the mayor is going to get released. I've just been informed that he is going to be released. We will be here until we physically see that happening. But this is un-American. This breaks my heart that in the United States of America, as imperfect as it has been, there's never been this disrespect for individual rights, for positions, or for just justice in general.
Congresswoman, it's so disheartening and yet compelling to hear you describe the events surrounding the arrest of the mayor. I want to call your attention to something that's very important and you know very well, and you've alluded to this throughout your comments there, that the rules of engagement that are laid out specifically, and everyone go see them at, ice.gov, right? Regarding those facilities says, quote, nothing in this section may be construed to require a member of Congress to provide prior notice of the intent to enter a facility described in subsection A for the purpose of conducting oversight, for the purpose of doing your job as a member of Congress. You are not precluded nor prohibited. The fact that this administration yet again flouts the law, throws it up in the face of the American people and the very members who swore the same oath of office that they swore to uphold that law tells you what? What does that tell you when you get back to Congress and you're on the floor next week? What does it tell you you need to make your fellow members aware of regarding the actions of this administration?
Well, I just have to remind them just how corrupt this administration is as it relates to the rule of law and almost everything else, Michael. But I also need to talk to them about the difficulty that we had in gaining access to the facilities, the three of us who are members of Congress, because you cited the law. We cited the law. We've had conversations with ICE before in visiting their facilities. So we don't understand why they were so hyper determined to be so uncooperative.
Mayor Baraka being detained while standing with protesters in front of an ICE facility. This is not right. This is not only a violation of a local leader right to free speech. It is a violation of the constitutional authorities of the American people, and on top of that, this incident has taken on a different dimension with the beating of 3 congressmen, which clearly shows that Trump wants to silence even the legal representatives who want to oversee his immigration policies. Is it a dagger to democracy that federal agencies are now completely taking sides, acting in a partisan manner, even though they have the legal right to intercept them? These events completely undermine the trust of the American people in the government's bodies, especially when a mayor is arrested for peacefully acting in a city where he is in charge. It really shows that this state is expressing the use of force and power, poisoning this behavior of this dictatorial administrations of Trump. This action of Trump shows that he definitely wants and practices an authoritarian form of government. It was also a politically counterproductive strategy. Either it turned a little now leader into a national symbol, or this kind of action shows that Trump is only trying to rule by means of repression. It shows how far he is from democracy.